you must know which direction is which. Okay, so if water coming from the top, go up from the bottom, you will not fill the Liebig condenser with the water. So any products formed here, that is ethanol. So what is the property for ethanol? It is colorless, it is sharp smell. If you burn it, it will light up with blue flame. Is there any acidic or basic? No. No reaction with litmus paper. Okay, so please remember a few of the general characteristics of alcohol. So, as you can see here, if we use the rice or the pineapple juice, we will get similar observation where fermentation and solution happen. Lime water turns to become cloudy, means release of carbon dioxide. Distillate form is a colorless liquid, has a sharp smell. Okay, so if you look at the equation here, both the rice and pineapple, we have starch, we have glucose inside, which is C6H12O6, and it will become ethanol plus carbon dioxide. So glucose fermentation will produce ethanol and carbon dioxide. Yeast is added to rice and pineapple solution to produce 𝗖𝗵𝗲𝗺𝗀𝗁 enzyme that can convert complex organic molecule into simple compound. And the mixture solution must be placed in a closed conical flask. If the question asks you why we have to close the conical flask, if you do not close it, you will not get fermentation because we want to make it anaerobic process, which is mean limited oxygen. If you leave it open, means it can access to the oxygen. This will not happen. Okay, remember. So the presence of oxygen during the fermentation oxidize ethanol to become ethanoic acid. So that is also another point. If any ethanol have produced, if it is exposed to oxygen also, it will be undergo oxidation process, go to become ethanoic acid. So some people want to make wine. Who knows that in the end it becomes vinegar, okay? Why? Because it is further oxidized. Enzyme 𝗖𝗵𝗲𝗺𝗁 denatures at the end of the fermentation when the percentage is increased to 14%. Okay, so means this enzyme or the yeast will be killed off when the alcohol increase in terms of percentage. Okay, so that's why alcohol is one of the good sanitizer. So it can kill bacteria or germs, similar to this yeast as well. Okay, you can kill it. So fractional distillation is carried out to promote ethanol with higher purity, and fermentation is very effective when carried out in an optimum temperature of 37 degrees C. Okay, so this is what teacher explained just now, because enzyme is the best operate temperature is around this temperature, which is similar to the human body. Okay, so other than using fermentation, the second way we can prepare alcohol is hydration. Okay, as teacher explained to you, how we get hydration, we will use the hot steam, not water. Okay, so remember, not water. We need to use steam, pass through, react with ethane. Okay, and we need to achieve this condition. Remember, memorize this before exam. Use phosphoric acid as catalyst. Okay, so when alcohol having three, just now all this is about physical property. Okay, so it has having three chemical property. First one is combustion. Okay, when it is burned, it will produce carbon dioxide and water. Ding ding, burn in blue flame. Important. Okay, and without soot. So if the question said that we have substance X, when we burn it, it produces carbon dioxide and water. If in this sentence, maybe it is alkane, maybe it is alkene, maybe it's alcohol. But when it said that it is blue flame without soot, no carbon, no dark smoke coming out, means must be alcohol. Okay, C5H5OH plus, I think it's typo, this C2. Okay, C2H5OH plus 3 oxygen equals to carbon dioxide plus H2O. Okay, so the second reaction, this is the first one. The second one is oxidation. Again, this process is important. Why? Because it involves another homologous series group. Okay, alcohol undergo oxidation process to produce ethanoic acid in the presence of oxidizing agent. What agent it is? 𝗂𝗵𝗄𝗃, K2CrO7. Okay, so this is from purple to no colors. This is from what? Orange to become green. Orange to become green. Okay. So from here, how we write the equation? Oxidation agent, we just square bracket with O, and then we'll just get it 2C. Don't write C2 because at the back here we have another C, which is very important. Please take note on this. Okay, so it's CH2COH plus H2O, then we get that. So as you can see in this diagram here, what happened is if we are using 𝗂𝗵𝗄𝗃 with ethanol, we burn it, boil it, and then we get a distillate. What is this? It is carboxylic acid, which is ethanoic acid. Okay, so as you can see, this color, the teacher just now write it, orange to green, purple to colors. Okay, how did you remember orange to green? I remember oranges. Okay, so oranges, it is before it ripe, it is green. After that, it become orange. Okay, but for me, rainbow color, it is comes first with orange. Okay, orange to green. This is the way I remember. Okay, so color of the distillate is colors, but the smell, it is having sour smell. If you test with the blue litmus paper, if it turns to become red litmus paper remain red, means it is acidic because it is carboxylic acid. Okay, so please remember that if we undergo the third process for alcohol is dehydration. First hydration, second is oxidation, third is dehydration. How we can get it? Think the black word is important. So all these are the dehydration agent. So the alcohol vapor will be heated and pass through all these agents to absorb the moisture, absorb the water content, and reproduce the alkene gas. Okay, so as you can see here, what happened is this is alcohol formula. We will take the bottom H and OH, take it away and form the double bond. Okay, so please don't be confused. We are not taking from here. No. Okay. So because this hydrogen and oxygen hydroxyl group must be taken from two different carbon. Okay. So only it can form a double bond. Don't select these two. The red one is wrong. So how to do the experiment? As you can see here, we have the porcelain chips. We have glass wool soaked in ethanol. So after that, we will burn the porcelain chips, we'll burn the glass wool, and it will evaporate, pass through the porcelain chips, and then absorb the water, and the gas will release. Okay, so if the question asks you, what is this method? Do you still remember? Displacement of water, okay, to collect gases. So this is the way. Okay, so gas released and collected in the test tube, where we know that this is actually ethene gas. How we test ethene gas? First, use bromine water. Okay, that will form us 1,2-dibromol something something. Okay, so then or we can use acidified potassium manganate, then it will form us 1,2-diol something diol. Okay, because it will produce 2 alcohol for this ketene. Okay, so also the purple color of the potassium manganate 7 KMO4 is turns to become colorless. So that is all about alcohol, very short, and that is just the important point. Okay, important reaction. So what is about carboxylic acid? When we talk about carboxylic acid, it is a type of acid. It has all the acid property. Okay, so means when acid mixed with alkali or base, it will form salt plus water. When acid react with metal, reactive metal, it will form salt plus hydrogen gas. When acid react with metal carbonic, it will form what? Salt plus water plus carbon dioxide. So all this will also happen for carboxylic acid. Okay, just that always in the exam they will ask you to compare weak acid and strong acid. Make sure you know how to define them. The weak acid is dissolved into the water, produce low concentration of hydrogen ion. Therefore, you have to say that it is partially ionizes in the water. Therefore, it is weak acid. Okay, so strong acid will be oppositely, which is fully ionizes or dissociate in the water. Okay. So when you look at this diagram, it is the process very similar to the one we learned just now, where we have water go in, water come out from the top, must be from bottom. So here we have ethanol and we have the oxidizing agent. We let it to do it. So this process is called as reflux method. Okay, reflux. So what does this mean? So whatever reaction happen, we know that evaporate. Oh yeah, who will evaporate first? Ethanol will evaporate first. Why? Because the boiling point is lower. When you try to evaporate, escape, then halfway it escape, it become cold back, become liquid, and then it will drop back to the solution. Okay, so in this case, when we use this reflux method here, therefore, it will be keep repeating inside this solution until fully reacted. Okay, fully reacted, later we'll get the carboxylic acid and water, right? So that 4 reaction teacher just now highlight to you. I think this is quite straightforward. You can see the example when we have copper oxide, actually is a base. Sodium hydroxide is alkali. What happened? Then we will have reaction dissolved. Black powder is copper oxide, and then color solution is formed. White solid is formed. Blue solid is formed. Means the salt is copper ion salt. Here is sodium ion salt. Okay, so if you look at the equation, what is going to form? The blue one is copper ethanoate, and then the white salt is actually sodium ethanoate. Okay, so first reaction is, what is this reaction? Neutralization. Okay, neutralization. So second, carboxylic acid with carbonate, metal carbonate, it will release one more, which is carbon dioxide. Okay, so if you look at here, dilute ethanol acid, you release carbon dioxide, then it will make this water to become cloudy, okay, or milky. So, and one more is reaction is carboxylic with metal. This is referred to reactive metal. Remember to use aluminum, zinc, and magnesium. Only we can do this, okay? So because if you use copper, maybe reaction will not happen, especially it is for ethanol acid, okay? So therefore, in that case, maybe we have to use hot acid, okay? Only the reaction can happen. So here we also will form the salt plus hydrogen gas when we test with lighter wooden splinter, which will give us a pop sound, okay? So you can see We use magnesium and zinc. The powder will dissolve. Color solution form. A pop sound test with lighter wooden spindle. Pop sound test with lighter wooden spindle. Okay. So that is the third reaction. For all these three reactions is very important that we learn in the short chapter, but we use it in this chapter, we use it in the thermochemistry chapter as well, we use it in many other chapters for these three reactions. Okay, make sure you remember that. So the last one is also a special reaction. Carboxylic acid react with alcohol will form another comolecular series group called as ester, and water, which is the esterification process. Okay, so here we will add sulfuric acid, concentrated sulfuric acid as the catalyst to produce this ester. So what is the property for ester? We can see if you use propanol or ethanol react with ethanol acid, both are producing the same thing. It is like a layer floating on the surface water, and it is a bit oily layer. And then the liquid with fruity smell is formed. Okay, so we will smell that it is like oranges and others. So that part, unfortunately, it's also important. You have to remember what ester give you what flavor, okay, what smell. No choice will come out in objective, ask you select which one match correct or wrong. I cannot help you there. You have to memorize before the exam. Okay, so ethanoic acid react with ethanol to produce ethyl ethanoate. Thing important, write acid first, name alcohol first. Remember the rules. Okay, write acid first, name alcohol first. We'll write acid followed by alcohol. Then this H and OH we take out, CH3COO, CH3COO, followed by here C2H5. And the H and OH join to form water. How to name? Name this first. 2C is ethyl, 2C is ethanol. Okay, so again, write acid first, followed by alcohol, write acid, and then take out this one, and join with C3H7. How to name? Name this first. 3 carbon is propyl, 1 ethanol. Propyl ethanoate and water. Okay, so concentrated sulfuric acid act as a catalyst in the esterification reaction as shown in above. Okay, so this is the reaction in the exam, also very popular, asked you to write the equation, balance, and name the ester form. Okay, so please make sure everyone you know how to write this ester. Okay.